You will start with your introduction.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Mehak Narang, and I've been born and brought up in Delhi. I live with my parents, my grandmother, my brother, and my dog. My mother is a PYP coordinator at an IB school in Delhi, and my father works as an administrative head at an NGO. I completed my schooling from Birla Vidya Niketan, and after completing my education at Birla Vidya Niketan, I pursued English literature from Jesus and Mary College, Delhi University. So throughout my school and college life, I've been a very proactive individual who really likes to learn new things. So I've always engaged in different things and different activities outside of school and college. So when I was in school, I remember I had joined an NGO called Your Wonderful Project, which basically aims to sensitize people about mental health and promotes peer support. So I had joined as a member of the creative team where I used to make content for their social media handles like uh, Instagram or Facebook. I used to make short posts and even long posts. After working there for a year, I was promoted as the head of the creative team. And since I'd always liked writing, this gave me a very good platform. And then initially I was a little apprehensive about how I write, but this entire experience gave me a lot of confidence, and I realized that in fact I'm not that bad at writing actually. Additionally, when I was in school, my friends and I had also started a brief initiative called Veera, where we decided to make a day special for women who are in shelter homes who've been affected by domestic violence. So what we would do is that we would ask people to come and volunteer with us. We would ask them to donate clothes, and we would pack them and make gift hampers for these women, and then we would connect with these NGOs and ask them when we could come there. So we would go there and take all of these packages along with food for these women and speak to them and try to make their day special. In college, I became a part of ISEC, which is one of the largest student-run organizations, and they basically promote cross-cultural exchanges and help people to go and experience different things and engage in activities in different countries. So after completing my graduation in 2020, I joined a startup called Squad. The startup was founded in 2019, and it's basically a global employment enabling platform which connects tech professionals to different opportunities. So I was a part of the talent team where I worked with around 10 to 15 people, and my role consists of three things. The first is sourcing candidates from different portals like LinkedIn or Insta Hire based on the job that we had been assigned. Then there was candidate engagement to ensure that the entire process of the interviews and candidate engagement goes smoothly. And the third part is customer account management. So we were assigned customers for whom we need to find these candidates. So we had to understand what is the customer's requirement, what kind of candidates they're looking for, which location would they prefer, all of that.
Okay. So while you in your work experience, do you also look for freelance work, or was it there for only full-time employees?
So we were looking for all sorts of employees, freelancers, part-time employees, full-time employees. But my major experience has been with people who wanted to work as full-time. I briefly did find people who are freelancers also, but they were not Indians. They were from different countries.
Okay. So have you ever encountered a situation like if you're looking for a person for full-time job and you're the best suited profile that you're getting is into freelancing? So have you ever converted any freelancer into full-time employee?
So we have actually had instances where the customers maybe want people immediately, and then the best way to go about that is freelancers, because we've realized that freelancers basically have a notice period. If not notice period, like they're on the project and they can join within a week or 2 weeks. But as compared to full-time employees, they take since in India the notice period varies from a month to 3 months, so that takes a lot of time. So we have had people, we have spoken to customers, and we have tried to get them freelancers, but there have rarely been opportunities where someone who is working as a freelancer has wanted to convert into a full-time employee. However, the reverse is true. Like we've had people who've been working as full-time employees but would like to contribute as freelancers or part-time employees.
Okay, so if I may ask, if I'll ask, what could be the unethical practice in your services? Or is there any unethical practice that is going around in your service, that the service that your company is providing? So what it could be or what it is there?
So I don't think there's any unethical practice per se, but I think there could be some practices which may lie in the gray area. For instance, like when we approach people on LinkedIn, we realize that since we're from India, so we don't get many responses when we send out connection requests. So there have been times when we've tried to change our location just so that we reach a broader audience, so to say. But other
Okay.
than that, the profiles that the recruiters have are authentic. It's just that we change the location in case we're able to reach a broader audience.
Or don't you do something like, if a person doesn't have all that skills that is required for the job, and if he's lacking some 5% or 10% of the skills, but you need to close the deal or you need to close the employment, uh, whatever the request that have come to you. So do you also push a person without, or even if he is not eligible, or the second case might be that a person is more eligible and he has more skills than the job is asking, and since he's not working in a great profile, so you just push them ki your salary would be better, and you asked him to join even you know that person is more eligible for the job.
So, what as a standard practice, what we do is when we connect with somebody who is a potential candidate, we first speak to them, know what are their expectations, what is it that
First
they're
of
looking
all,
for.
tell me before answering this question, what is the profile that you look for? Basically, it's a mid level or senior level, or is this kind of
So it's
headhunting?
a mix of all, but mostly the tech profiles, the profile that I've worked on. So we've worked on a few freshers or somebody with 1 to 3 years of experience, and we've also hired people as leads of teams, like a QA lead or a front end lead,
Okay,
something
and
like that.
now answer the previous question.
So like I was mentioning earlier, that whenever I speak to somebody, I try to get to know what their what are their interests, what are their skill set, the companies that they work on, and what kind of opportunities are they looking for. So there have often been times when somebody might have skills, and somebody might have certain skills which they've been working on for a long time, and they're learning new skills, but they're very interested in learning those skills and maybe changing their career graph or changing their profession. For example, when we have people who worked on front end technologies and back end technologies both, we might see that somebody might want to switch to completely a front end role or completely a back end role. So in that case, we do see the potential in the person and see that okay, this person wants to learn, so we do let them go through the interview process. But ultimately, since the interview process also involves 2 rounds of technical interviews and then a discussion with the company where that person will be hired, ultimately it all falls in place because then that person is being evaluated. So it's not like we're following any unethical practice or pushing a candidate who might not be fit for the role, because if that person might lack somewhere, then they get disqualified or get rejected during the interview stages only. However, like I mentioned earlier also, that even if there's someone who has potential and there might be a few things which that person can learn, we try our best to push that candidate with the customer also, and otherwise also. Like I do remember this one example where this person was very technically sound and he had all the skills, but the company was facing a problem because now that most of our companies actually work hire remote teams and all the work is done virtually. So this company had a problem with that candidate because his internet was a little choppy and they were concerned that this person might not be able to work well. So we did try to push that candidate and pitch his case forward to the company.
Okay. So for the next question, you can think for a few seconds. So I would like to know, what is the current status of the industry, sourcing industry, and what could be the future of this?
Okay, so since my experience has only been in tech, I can elaborate more on that. So I've from my experience, I've noticed that because because of the pandemic, many people have lost their jobs, and then but at the same time, since we've noticed how 2021 was actually the year when a lot of startups emerged and a lot of companies actually became unicorns. So then on the one hand, while people are leaving, on the other hand, there's also a very exponential growth in hiring also, especially in tech hiring, because most companies are going using technology, going tech based. So we've noticed that because of this, there's a practice in the industry where people, because they also have more time on their hands, because people are working from home, so people are offer shopping a lot. It's like we might have some person, and because of the notice period also, people have around 30 to 90 days of notice period, so they won't even apply for a resignation. They'll start looking for a job and then use the offer that they have from one company to bargain at the other. And because of this, we've noticed that people, like, the usually the company industry standard is a 20 to 30% hike when you switch your job, but now we've seen people getting a minimum of 50% hike and a maximum of around 200% hike. So because of this, I feel that the entire industry, I mean, this is not a practice that should be followed, because then we're creating uh, unreal standards for the entire industry, and it might be difficult to get good talent also for in companies which might not have that much resources or capital.
So Meg, I was more interested in knowing the financials. So how much revenue these companies are generating? What are the percentage growth year by year for this industry, and what could be the future?
So, especially, I'm not very sure about the statistics per se, but like for my company, I remember that since it was started in 2019 and somewhere around 200 to 2021, we had clocked in a profit of $900,000. So I can say that these companies are growing very well because they're leveraging technology, and we have companies, since most of our companies, most of our clients are actually startups, they're also receiving fundings, like some companies receiving series A, series B. So because of that also, the company becomes very popular, and they're coming in light in the market.
Okay. So now what do you want? Matlab, why do you want to do MBA, or why do you want to come to XLRI?
So I actually strongly feel that HR is actually the backbone of any company, and it's very important to have a strong culture. And the role that HR plays in creating a culture for the company is very important, because that ultimately impacts its employees, and whether or not the employee stays, the HR has a big role to play in that.
So how
So
did you realize this? Matlab, whatever you said in last 2 minutes or last 1 minute, how did you realize that?
So a lot of this has actually also come from my experience at working at my current company. So because I work in the talent team, and because I mentioned that my company is also a startup, uh, we did not have a lot of HR practices in place, because we were a new company and we were learning by trial and error. Like uh, we did not have a rewards and recognition system for a long time. And then because of that, I also realized that a lot of people from my team started leaving the team for better opportunities. So then I realized that this is something very important. Like and then once we had a rewards and recognition system in place, it wasn't followed through very properly. A lot of people in the company are not aware of the HR practices that are there in the company also. So these are a few things which I feel that ultimately the company will work towards it and will improve the culture. But these are things that are very important, and I feel like even if the company is a new company, you should get these things in place so that the employees don't feel discomfort.
Okay. So now continue with the answer.
About yes. So like I mentioned, that I feel that HR is the backbone of any company, and also, given the pandemic situation, the role of HR has become especially important, because on the one side, we might say that okay, now people are at home, so they will have a work life balance, but that's not actually true. A lot of people don't actually have a work life balance. There's no connect with the team, so people are feeling demotivated, people are leaving their jobs and going because they feel burnt out, they feel a lack of connect within the company, they don't know what they're doing, it's difficult to connect with your employers. Additionally, I feel that a role that an important role that HR also plays is that it nurtures future leaders. And once you come into an organization, you don't just join an organization for the monetary things or the job itself, but you also want the company to provide you with growth opportunities to help you become a better individual personally and professionally. So where when it comes to training learning needs, that is also another aspect of HR which is very important. So I feel like when I personally would like to go into this field and make changes to whichever organization I join and drive impact from there. Additionally, my future goals also align with this, because I, in say the next 10 years, I see myself either establishing my own business, and I feel because I would have that knowledge of HR, I will be able to lead my team, my company from the front. And if not, if I don't become an entrepreneur, then I see myself as either the chief operating officer or the CEO of a company, where I think that all of these experiences, all of this knowledge will help me lead the people and the company better.
Okay. So all your experiences of managing HR will help you in your entrepreneurial journey. So do you
Yes.
have any idea or any direction that in this industry I'll be opening up something or uh,
So as of now, I don't have any industry in mind. I do know that I want to do something big and I want to probably establish a company of my own. For now, like when I think about it, I think somewhere my interest also lies in the education space, because my mother is a PYP coordinator, and I've seen how she interacts with her students. And then my mother's also doing her masters in education from University of People. So I've also since it really interests me, so I've also read whatever coursework she gets, and all of these things really interest me. So if I were to say which industry for now, I think it would probably be education.
so you must have gone through NEP, new education policy. So can you
Yes.
differentiate the old education policy with new education policy?
So, as compared to the old education policy, the new education policy strictly, puts a focus on the mother tongue of the individual. So, the mode of instruction, so to say, will be in the mother tongue, which will help a lot of people whose native language is not Hindi or English to learn better. Additionally, students will be able to mix and match with their subjects, and a lot of focus is also laid on hands-on experience and fostering that entrepreneurial drive in students.
Okay, so all these differences are major.
Yes.
So what did you like most, or what did you like about new education policy, and how do you see that the new education policy will be implemented and will be effective for
So,
Indian, of course, the Indian circumstances?
given that people in India have everyone speaks different languages, I think the fact that the teachers will be able to communicate in the students' native language or the mother tongue is a very efficient step. Because even in say Delhi, when I was in school, I used to see how some people struggled with English, and because India is a vast and diverse country, so we would obviously have in every school you might have people from different backgrounds. So I think this is definitely a step ahead. Additionally, when I was in school, we did not have a lot of hands-on opportunities to learn through experiences. Most of whatever my education has been, it was usually with the textbooks, or we might have a few activities like sports and extracurricular activities at school. But to go there and have hands-on experience with say an internship or having to join an NGO or a company, you had to make your own effort. And I don't think that a lot of students actually have these resources.
Okay, but I'll ask the question. So in new education policy, it is also suggested that the graduation program should be of 4 years, and we are getting the news that even Delhi University is coming, or they are uh, making a strategy for 4 year graduation program. So how do you compare? Is the 3 year graduation that you did as an English honors or a 4 year graduation, which will be better, and how?
So, one thing I feel that when it comes to a 4 year graduation, one advantage of this would be that if any student wants to apply abroad, it'll be much
So,
easier
matlab,
because
our in the entire education system that we are making, the entire policy that we are making is based on whether our students are getting selected abroad or not.
no, sir, I mean that this is probably
So, this
one
is
of
the
the
most important feature that you are looking for, but of course, the policy is not being made for this.
right.
You know, because we have crores of students at this they are
Hmm.
who will be in graduation in next 3 4 years. So
Hmm.
we will not send all of them to
Right, right.
abroad.
Right.
So tell me
Uh,
about the educational quality and what the pros and cons you can feel other than uh, a student who wants to go for uh, higher education to abroad.
So I think in terms of extending a year, it will obviously include more coursework for the students as well as the teachers. But I'm not exactly sure how important that is, because I feel like since I have got, like, I had studied 3 years in college, I thought that that was pretty sufficient. Like all the coursework was there, whatever subjects that we had got, that was sufficient. So I'm not 100% sure that I know the answer for this, that how will a 4 year degree be better or worse than a 3 year degree.
Okay. So the last question for you, if I'll ask, what is the most, uh, not most, you tell me the biggest challenge that a HR manager faces in today's organizations.
So I think the biggest challenge that an HR manager might face in today's day and age would probably be how to keep employee motivation and connection between the teams. Because, like I had mentioned earlier, also that uh, a lot of people, like initially, people had their companies had their hesitation that okay, should we even move to a virtual model? But now, even though offices have started resuming offline, also a lot of companies have stuck to the online model. So in the future also, to incorporate all the features of an offline workspace into online will be a challenge, because you will have to upskill your employees, you will have to ensure that the training and development needs are met through the online platform. Your team meetings, rewards, and recognition systems are done through an online platform only. So I think
Okay,
there's a
okay.
lot of work
Just
that needs to be done
it's
there.
enough. So Mac, it was a very good interview. You spoke really well, and most of the
पर आई
time
थिंक
you
एनईपी वाला थोड़ा वो हो गया
हाँ
लेकिन.
एनएपी वाला कम था और मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम यू वर इन सिंक वो ठीक था एनएपी यू नीड टू स्टडी अ लॉट क्योंकि इफ यू आर
मैं पढ़
टेलिंग
लूंगी.
एनीथिंग अबाउट एजुकेशन सेक्टर and the big question will be from NEP only and
हम्म.
always remember when somebody asks कि challenge क्या है आपके फील्ड में always talk about changing environment. The HR manager need to keep up with the learning. है ना मतलब the situations are changing, the external environment is changing. In this pandemic era, all the HR practices that we used to have before pandemic now is being changed. So if a person is not learning enough or and even the type of industry, the type of company or type of business function is also changing. मतलब earlier it was like a car company or a auto spare part company. Now these days we have a company like Ola also, which is based on car. So the new kind of company, new kind of manpower. Earlier it was like either software-based company or manufacturing-based company. Now there are quasi-software, quasi-manufacturing companies are also there. So मतलब diverse employment structure, globalization, and keeping people with the organization for a longer period of time. All these challenges are coming day by day. So the biggest challenge is to you need to keep up the learning and to face all the challenges. एंड ऐसे तो कोई कुछ खास फीडबैक मुझे नहीं देना है क्योंकि अदरवाइज इट
तो
वाज
मुझे एक चीज पूछनी थी.
बहुत अच्छा
जब
था
आप, थैंक यू सर, एक
बट
चीज
इसमें क्या
पूछनी
था
थी.
कि थोड़ा और जैसे अभी हम पूछेंगे ना जैसे और भी इंटरव्यूज लेंगे तो वी माइट बी एबल टू कम अप विद द न्यू टॉपिक्स इन द इंटरव्यू तब उसमें और समझ में आएगा जैसे एनईपी वाज द बिग ड्रॉबैक ऑफ योर इंटरव्यू
हाँ जी,
है
मेरे
ना
को भी
वो
लगा था.
हाँ वो पूरे इंटरव्यू में वहां पे तुम अगर एक्सेल कर देते तो इट वुड हैव बीन वेरी ग्रेट है ना क्योंकि
तो
बाकी
मैंने बहुत पहले पढ़ा था एनईपी, तो मेरे को ज्यादा
नहीं
मतलब थोड़ी
तुम्हारा
सी.
एक एक चीज क्या है ना तुम ये समझती हो कि पहले और बाद तुम्हारा पढ़ने का तरीका ही खराब है नॉट खराब है मतलब जब भी तुमने पढ़ा था व्हाई डिडंट यू काउंटेड द मेजर थिंग्स दैट दे हैव चेंज्ड जैसे सबसे पहले तो जैसे हम लोग पहले ऐसे करते थे 10+2+3 ये स्ट्रक्चर होता था नाउ इट इज 5+3+3 तो ये सबसे पहले बोलना होता है दूसरा जो मेजर चेंज था वो था कि आप एग्जिट और एंट्री का फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है मतलब you can just do the first year of graduation and can leave the college and then come back after 2 year and do the second year ऐसा अभी कर रखा है ना और 4 year ग्रेजुएशन तो ये सारी चीजें जो थी ना वो ज्यादा बड़े चेंजेस हैं which is like in the infrastructure तो नहीं बोलेंगे, the structure in which we learn. और फिर वो
थोड़ा
सब,
प्राइमरी पे फोकस ज्यादा कर दिया था।
हाँ तो तुमको ऊपर से क्या है ना कि जब भी कुछ पूछा जाए ना तो कैटेगराइज करके बताओगे ना तो बहुत ही औसम हो जाएगा। सो व्हेन यू से कि
डिफरेंट आर्ट्स
प्राइमरी
और
एजुकेशन में
बोला।
ऐसे चेंज हुए हैं, सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन में, हायर एजुकेशन में ऐसे चेंज हुआ है ना, और पहले स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज बताकर और फिर उसके बाद अलग चेंजेस बताओ, तो वो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा। एक जगह और भी ऐसा कुछ था, मतलब कभी ऐसा हो ना, जैसे एचआर के चैलेंजेस की बात हो, जब मोटिवेशन वाली बात तुमने किया, तो यू कैन अगेन इसको कैटेगराइज कर दोगे कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर के एचआर ऐसा, क्योंकि जनरली एचआर के नाम पे वी ऑलवेज थिंक अबाउट कि आईटी कंपनी का एचआर।
अच्छा, ठीक है।
ऐसा नहीं है, इंडिया इज नॉट जस्ट आईटी कंपनी, है ना, इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज नॉट बेस्ड ऑन जस्ट आईटी कंपनी। तो तुम जैसे ऐसे जैसे स्मॉल स्केल कंपनीज के एचआर का चैलेंज, बड़ी कंपनी के एचआर का चैलेंज, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज का, तो ऐसे करके अगर तुम बताना शुरू करोगे ना, प्रॉब्ली द टीचर विल स्टॉप यू कि बस बस हो गया, बट ही विल बी मोर
अच्छा,
इम्प्रेस्ड। तो जनरलाइज की
समझ।
बजाय ना, हाँ, तो थोड़ा सा कैटेगराइज करने की कोशिश करो तो ज्यादा बेटर होगा इन एनी क्वेश्चन, समझे, जहां पे भी तुम्हें स्कोप हो
हम्म
कि हम अलग अलग पार्ट्स में हम इसको जवाब दे तो ज्यादा बेटर रहे। ठीक है।
ठीक है,
और
ठीक है।
बाकी सब तो ठीक है, एक मोहसिन का क्वेश्चन है, हम इस पहले रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ करते हैं फिर बताते हैं।